Hello and welcome to EV Motoring. I'm Joe, and today we're going on another EV road trip. So I just got my last meal in Chicagoland at Portillo's. I had some errands to run today. I charged the car this morning up to 100% on my Electron V-Box 48 amp charger. Link in the description to get yourself one of those. I think it's one of the best level 2 chargers. But a little bit more about the car and the journey right now. So this is the 2023 Tesla Model 3 standard range, which has the iron phosphate batteries. We're at 93% right now. Car is estimating 250 miles of estimated range. We are heading to St. Louis for the weekend, so a quick little road trip. But it's actually really relevant because I'm going on a 4,000 mile road trip next week, so this will give me some good baseline for what I should expect for efficiency. One of the great things with the Tesla is I just punch in where I'm going. So once I get to normal, I should have about 11%, and I'll charge there. It wants me to charge for an hour. I know that's not going to be my plan because there's another charger down here in Springfield. So I'll charge in normal, or Bloomington normal, whatever, then drive to Springfield, charge a little more, and then I'll continue the journey to St. Louis. Also, it's 26 degrees right now and bright and sunny, so we're getting a little bit of solar heating right now. Winds are pretty negligible. It's a slight crosswind that we should experience most of the drive. 144 miles to Bloomington normal. So let's hit the road. So I just wanted to highlight a couple more things about the car as I'm embarking on the journey. I've purchased the full self-driving subscription. I purchased it for 1 month just to basically be able to test out some things. One, I wanted to see how the basically enhanced autopilot functions. So that's the automatic lane changes that the car will do when you're using Navigate on autopilot, which is what I'm doing right now. The way I have it set up is that it suggests a lane change to me, I confirm it, then the car will change lanes. What's really convenient about this that I've at least found so far during the first couple weeks of using it is every time you want to change lanes, you have to disengage autopilot to change lanes and then re-engage autopilot. Some other self-driving systems out there, or, not self-driving, I shouldn't say, but enhanced cruise controls out there, they'll let you change lanes and then they'll automatically re-engage their lane centering. So a little bit frustrating that you essentially have to pay $5,000 or $6,000 for enhanced autopilot to get that feature, or the $200 a month that this full self-driving is. I'm still in the queue to get the full self-driving beta. Again, I wasn't too interested in really getting that because I'm more or less, this 4,000 mile trip I'm doing next week, it's really mostly, it's all highway, right? I'm going out to Vegas, and then from there I'll go down to Phoenix, and then from there circle back home to Chicagoland. So, really it's just these lane changes that I think would be very nifty to have, and then it'd also be great to test out and see how well these features work, or how often it's, maybe trying to change lanes in a situation when it shouldn't. So I'll definitely keep track of that. We'll keep track of that on this little journey too, but more in depth on the long trip that's happening next week. What I really like about this trip is it's getting me the baselines, because this is the first time I've really taken this car on the highway for any considerable distance. I've supercharged it a couple times around town, which certainly supercharging is so convenient compared to using Electrify America. Believe it or not, I actually might hit Electrify America station on this trip. I'll show you how I'm going to do that on the video as well a little bit later. But so convenient just being able to pull up to a supercharger and plug in. And what's really, so the cars I had before, I had a Volkswagen ID4. That didn't really have good route planning at all. I kind of always had to figure out my own route plan, which actually took a lot of time before I wanted to leave town to look at where chargers are and see if it made sense for me to do the trip and, which route I would have to take. When I had my Polestar 2, that had really good route planning because of the Google operating system that it runs on. So you're getting Google Maps routing you to each of the Electrify America stations, and then, you know, it'll tell you about what percentage you'll arrive with, and then when you get there, you know, it tells you how long to charge for, which, you know, certainly is excellent. However, Tesla takes this one step further, because in the for instance, the Model 3 here, I just punch in that I'm going to St. Louis, right? It says it wants me to go to Bloomington Normal to do my first charge, but I can see right here on my map there are 7 superchargers available at that station. There's 12 stalls, and now it actually just updated. Now there's 11 available, so only 1 is in use right now. It shows me what the price per kilowatt hour would be. I actually have 10,000 miles of free supercharging that came with this car, so that's going to be great to charge for free, but certainly I'll keep track of what it would have costed, and I'll try to put all that down below. But it's great to see all the data that the Tesla navigation provides here, that takes it to the next step versus what the Google operating system had. And that's something that, you know, I don't know if, you know, at what point is it possible for Polestar to get that information into their cars, or any car that's going to have Google operating systems such as the Equinox and Blazer EV that'll be coming out here shortly as well. But that's really that one layer that I've kind of run into during a few years of owning CCS cars, is that the apps are not always as accurate as you'd like them to be. So I might be near my local Electrify America station. I log onto the app and it shows me that there's 3 chargers at that station, and it'll say that 2 are available, and I show up to the charger, still the app saying that there's 2 available, only for me to realize that they're all full, that the app didn't update properly. And these are bugs that Electrify America certainly is trying to work out, but it's something that Tesla has figured out right now. So certainly a level of convenience and less range anxiety, knowing that this charging network is a little more integrated into the infotainment, which means that I should arrive at my destination with comfort, knowing that I'm going to get there and a charger is going to work. I don't have to arrive thinking, oh, I hope this charging station is going to work. I don't need to really check on it too much on PlugShare ahead of time. Still good advice to check on PlugShare, but I don't need to put as much effort into pre-planning the trip. This is much more of a simpler process of get in, punch in where you want to go, and drive. So I'll check in a few more times over this drive, but now let's get back to the road and enjoy some of this snow-covered scenery. We just got a couple inches of snow last night, so it's going to make for some beautiful rolling shots. I'll try to keep the window as clean as possible. Just filled up the windshield washer fluid, so we're ready to go. So I just wanted to hop back on and give a quick update on how this first leg of the drive went. So I have 9 miles left till I exit, 12 miles till the charger. Let's look at some of the data so far. So with the Tesla here on the screen, we have the trip is right here. So you can see so far on this journey to St. Louis, we've driven 148 miles and used 45 kilowatt hours of energy. And we are averaging 303 watt hours per mile. That's roughly a little better than 3 miles per kilowatt hour. So pretty good efficiency considering that it's been 26 degrees. We have like a 5 mile an hour crosswind. Right now it's warmed up to 31. When we started it was about 26. So good to see the temperature warming up a little bit. But now let's dig a little bit further into the data of what the Tesla provides to us. So we have this energy screen right here. Super useful, tons of data here. This is like what I aspire to, what I hope every electric car maker aspires to add to their car, because it is so useful to have all this information. So right now it shows that we've used 73.9% of the battery, and that says that we've done a little bit better than it originally projected. And it shows this graph, and it shows that we should arrive with 14.4% remaining down in the corner here. And then it gives more detail as to why this has happened. So, you know, right here you can see my tire pressures at 39 is what I've been running at since this trip I knew was going to be a little bit cold. I plan on airing them up before the big trip next week. So right here it shows, breaks down of the 75% of energy that I've used, what everything has, you know, what has contributed to that battery use. Almost 5% due to battery preconditioning, that's been pretty interesting. Since I left Chicagoland, it has been conditioning the battery. So, you know, the battery was pretty cold, and it wants to make sure it warms it up so we can really take on the optimum power when we get to the supercharger. So because I'm routed to a supercharger, the car knows to get the battery all warm and toasty, and, you know, and that will save us time on the journey. Unfortunately, some other cars I've owned in the past do not have preconditioning, and that means you show up to a charger and you won't see the peak speeds. You'll be slowed down a little bit. So now in here I can also go to this consumption graph. This shows the last 30 miles, what I've averaged watt hours per mile. It projects that I have 31 miles left, which differs obviously a little bit from here, because here the 48 miles, that's the EPA rated range. You know, that's very, very optimistic. This is much more realistic of showing, based on how I've been driving, that's what I can expect to get out of the vehicle. One more screen I can show is, so all this information here was based on my trip. I can go here to rated range, and all of this data will show how I've done versus what the EPA rated range is. So it shows that driving, I've used almost 23% more energy than the EPA has me rated for. So kind of just you know, shows you, especially over here, all this little data that, okay, my tires are slightly down compared to what Tesla wants them to be. It shows that if I stayed below 70 miles per hour, I would have saved a little bit more energy. And one other thing back here, it also shows that the 6-mile-an-hour crosswind that I've been encountering has actually cost me another 4%. So all of this data is super useful into planning a trip, because, you know, you saw there, it says if I would have saved a bunch of energy had I driven below 70 miles an hour. That's useful for when I'm doing my next leg of the trip. I have to decide, would I rather drive a little bit faster and spend a little more time at the charger, or drive a little bit slower and then I don't have to charge as much. So these are all the constant things that I'm always thinking about, you know, trying to perfect my route planning on an EV road trip. You know, this is my first time road tripping this Tesla, so certainly a little bit of a learning curve, but it's great having all this data here, because it really helps me calculate how I want to do this journey. So my plan at this charger here is to, you know, rip the peak speeds as much as possible. And the car wants me to sit here in Bloomington for about an hour. I most likely am actually going to only sit here for about 10-15 minutes, and then I'm actually going to shoot down the road to Springfield, Illinois, because there's a supercharger there, but there's actually also an Electrify America charger there. And I might, the supercharger looks like about a couple miles off the road, but the Electrify America charger is right off the exit. So I might actually go down there and use that one, thanks to this new adapter I have to test out. You know, and then I'll be able to, from Springfield, make it to St. Louis. So that, I think that'll save me a little bit of time versus sitting at this Bloomington charger for a full hour. There's no way that I want to do that. So I'll check back in as soon as we get to the charger and see what kind of speeds we can get and see how long that stop will be. All right, just arrived with 14%. Let's go plug in. Tesla charging experience, so easy. Push a little button on top, the door opens, plugged in, and just like that, we're charging. So simple. There's no activation of apps or any of that sort of stuff. Now it suggests that I open Netflix or YouTube or something to watch while I'm charging. It's estimating 40 minutes remaining, 14%, ramping up. Let's see what kind of speeds we can get. Should go up to 170. That would be the peak speed right now. And look at that, 171 right now. So completely ripping. Now let's go in and see what alternative route plan we can do. Because if I go here and click chargers, you'll see there's another supercharger right here. So if I add this to the trip, now it'll correct itself and see what our alternative could be. So it says I'll get to Springfield with negative 19% right now. So we want to stay here until we have about 25%. So literally only need to add about 10%. If we're going to keep ripping at 170, I'll probably wait till it tapers down to like 150 or 140, and then I'll go ahead and unplug. So literally that quick, already at 38% in literally 6 or 7 minutes here. So it says we'll arrive in Springfield with 1%. So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug. The thing that the car knows that's being smart, it shows it has 8 stalls, and it shows them that they're all full right now. So the reason it wants me to stay here instead of going there is it acknowledges that why would I want to go there and possibly wait when I'm already charging here. However, the trick up my sleeve is I'm going to go to Electrify America and show you a new adapter I have. All right, just arrived here in Springfield at 8%. On that drive, we used 20 kilowatt hours, a little bit less efficiency. So I think the wind might have made a little more factor. Also speed might have made a little more factor. But for those who have seen my channel before, we're at a familiar site. I'm here at Electrify America. Okay, so the car is naturally trying to send me to the Supercharger here because I think it's just a little confused with the route planner since we're actually not charging at a Supercharger now. So I went in here and removed where it says add charging stops. I just clicked there to remove charging stops temporarily to see what the trip plan looks like. We're at 34% right now, and it says we will get to St. Louis with 2%. So I'm pretty much good to unplug here. I want to arrive with just a little more power. There is, let me see, there is another charger in East St. Louis area. Looks like only one is available of the 8 stalls. It is a 250 unit. So I could go for that one for a quick top up. Or right by where I'm staying, there's actually a brand new 12 stall 250 unit that I can go for. So I think I'm gonna run into the restroom real quick, and then I'll hop back out here, see what kind of power we have, but I think we'll be able to unplug and just make it to the destination. I can always go supercharge tomorrow or the next day. I'm a little pressed for time, so that's why I'm gonna probably just arrive at my destination and supercharge tomorrow. However, especially in cold weather, I would always advise supercharging the night before. So say you're road tripping and there's a supercharger at your hotel and you're planning on, you're tired, you want to just go to sleep and supercharge the next morning. That will be a very long charge because your battery's going to have to precondition and warm up, and you're not going to get the ideal speed. So when we got to the last supercharger, I pulled 170 kilowatts right away, and it was just like a stupid fast charge, like less than 10 minutes to get what we needed to get here. You know, to avoid that, make sure you charge the night before when you arrive to your hotel or destination for wherever you're going. That way you'll get those peak speeds and you won't run into that issue of cold battery slowing you down the next day. But I'm gonna go run in to Wally World, hit the bathroom, and then I'll check back in when we're unplugging, and then we'll be off. Let's see how far it is. We'll be off 96 miles to St. Louis. All right, we're back to the car, already at 50%. So you see I've been here for a little over a half hour. That's because I've been messing around, you know, making sure I use this adapter right and filming videos for it. Really, the charge has only been 19 minutes so far. One other thing I wanted to point out is actually, so here's the cabinets right here. You know, these are how, you know, power comes from here to the chargers. But actually over here, they have Tesla battery backup storage to help the grid handle all the extra, you know, power demands of charging cars. So cool to see that even Electrify America works with Tesla. I've documented that in some other videos before, but it was cool that this location has that installed. One more quick thing I also wanted to point out, you know, I was here monitoring the car. I wasn't even gone for 3 minutes when I went to the restroom. But typically you do not want to use charger number 1 because this is the Chatamo unit. Now, I had seen that this charger had good reviews on PlugShare, so I wanted to use it. But usually it's better practices to go use one of the other chargers and save this unit, because if a Nissan Leaf shows up, this is the only plug they can use. However, as I mentioned in this situation, I was monitoring the car, and if a Nissan Leaf showed up, I would gladly unplug and move to another stall and restart my charge to allow them to start charging. Wouldn't make them wait while there's other chargers here open. Way overcharged, all the way up to 58%. So time to unplug and hit the road. So one last quick look on the nav. I'll actually go back and click adding charging stops now, so it shouldn't even add anymore. And there it goes. We'll get to St. Louis with 17%, so I won't even have to stop again. Good afternoon from St. Louis. Just had a great weekend here for Mardi Gras with some friends. Car is at 28%. When I had gotten into town, I had charged up a little bit, but used some of that running around. So let's hop inside and see what the plan is. All right, so set home as the destination. And yeah, so it wants us basically to go to East St. Louis, which is, well, we should arrive there with 19%. It's only 15 miles away. Then we can go here to the full journey. There we go. Then what it says, we'll have a stop in Bloomington, and then one more in the Naperville area in the southwestern side of Chicago. I think I might actually be stopping in Springfield as well. But, you know, let's head down the road to Collinsville and see what it says when we get there. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, it is just so convenient. You punch in where you want to go, and it figures everything out. There's no hassle or work to think, oh no, where do I charge? Where should I charge? Trying to plan out the trip. You just punch in the destination and it gives you the route. Just arrived at the Supercharger, plugged in with 16%, right away ripped up to 170 kilowatts, which is awesome. It's because the battery preconditioned properly on the drive. So yeah, I was ready to accept full power. Plus this beautiful 60-degree weather is making a big difference in efficiency today versus the drive down when it was pretty cold. So it wants us to stay here for about 30 minutes. But let's see if we change this and say we want to go to the Springfield Supercharger. There we go. Now it adjusts to being only a 15-minute charge. So it looks like we only need to add about another 16% or so, and then we'll be on the road. And just like that, 7 short minutes later, it's time to unplug. The car says that we should arrive in Springfield with about 5%. It's just 84 miles down the road, and so we should be there in a little over an hour. So I'm back here at the Electrify America in Springfield again. I was actually going to use the Supercharger, and it was full. So I looked on the Tesla route planner, saw that it was full, navigated over here since it's just down the road, and actually this one's even closer off the highway. Just need a quick couple-minute charge here to be able to make it to Bloomington. That'll be a deeper charge, I think, once I get there. But let's go inside and see what the speeds are. So I arrived with 7%. And similar to last time, speed's just hovering at 81 kilowatts. That's what I had the other day when I came through. Probably just an issue with these Electrify America units. If we go into the stats here, you'll see that we've used 22 kilowatt hours so far on this drive. And we're getting excellent efficiency at just 261 watt hours per mile. So that's almost 4 miles per kilowatt hour. So the 60-degree weather, the car is loving it. Okay, so it says we'll get to Bloomington with negative 22%. So actually this will be a little bit longer charge than I originally thought. But either way, we'll charge up here till about 40% or so, and then, or 35%, and then we'll hit the road. I'm gonna go run in and use the restroom in the meantime. All right, so I just ran inside, used the restroom, and back. We've been here for 10 minutes, added just about 14 kilowatt hours. So this is another case of this adapter saving me time and money, because the Supercharger was full on the way down and now it's full on the way back home. And also the pricing, the Supercharger is 37 cents a kilowatt hour, and I believe this is 31 or 32 cents a kilowatt hour. So I'm saving money and had no wait. So it kind of worked for me. Again, the link for this product's in the description. And also there's a full review I'll have on the channel regarding how to use this product and everything about the Electron CCS adapter. But now now it says we'll get to Bloomington with 1%. So in another minute I'll unplug and we'll hit the road. All right, so we have enough to get to Bloomington. So let's go ahead and stop the charge. Do that on Electrify America. All you do is press stop, and that's it. There's my charging cost. It was 31 cents a kilowatt hour. Sorry for the wind, by the way. So it only cost me $4 for this quick charge. Now I can remove this from the car and hit the road. I just arrived in Bloomington, arrived with 2%. So proper road tripping to arrive as close to dead as possible. Still incredible efficiency on this drive. This ended up being over 4 miles per kilowatt hour. It's also due to a tailwind. So we have it says an 8.6 mile per hour tailwind. That's helping us save a couple percent on this trip as well. Let's go plug in and then see what the next stop will be. All right, so now we can just say navigate to home, and wants us to charge here for about 25 minutes. Charging ripped right up to peak speed immediately, so excellent. We're going to get the most out of this charge. While I'm waiting the next 10 or 15 minutes for this charge, I can watch some excellent videos here on the EV Motoring YouTube channel. Be sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for tons more content coming with this Tesla and other electric vehicles in the future. Okay, so the car says that I need another 20% to make it home. So I'd have to, sit here for another 10 or 15 minutes. Or my other option is I can stop here in Dwight, Illinois, or in Bolingbrook, Illinois, and do a quick top up at one of those spots and then make it home from there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and unplug and head down the road a little bit and add one more stop rather than sitting here for another 15 minutes. Actually, my math was wrong. Sometimes the car just needs a minute to update. So right now it's actually saying I'll get home with 0%. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug now, and I'll be at about 50%. And I know that if for some reason the calculator seems to be off a little bit and I need to stop, well, like I said, I can stop in either of those two chargers that I'm going to pass on the way home. But now it's 136 miles left to the journey, and we'll be departing with 50%. So it does look like I'm not going to be able to make it. Looks like it still says I'm going to arrive home with negative 3% now, and I don't have the interest in driving 65 miles an hour to be able to make it. Plus I have some errands to run when I get home. So I'm going to go ahead and add charging stops here. They'll probably send me to Dwight, Illinois for literally like 5 minutes, but I'll get what I need there, and then I'll be able to make it home. Yep, it just added the Dwight Supercharger 15 minutes away from here. So we'll get there with about 25%. We'll charge up probably 10 or 15% is what I'll add to the battery. So that way I have a little bit of extra juice so I can run some errands when I get home. And then I'll plug in overnight. So the route planner is confusing me a little bit. It was saying that I was going to get home with negative 3%. Now it's saying negative 18%. So not sure what's going on there. Either way, I'm just going to make sure I add, 25% or so to the battery to play it safe, to know I'll make it home and then be able to run some errands. But let's go ahead and plug in. Or actually, first I'll show you the efficiency. So efficiency dropped a little bit. We were around 4 miles per kilowatt hour. Now it looks like around 3.75. So I'll be sure to always put that conversion down at the bottom of the screen. But let's go and plug in and see what kind of speeds we can get, since we're arriving with 25%. That's a little higher state of charge than I typically prefer to try and arrive with. There we go. Ramping up right now. I don't think it'll get to the 170 just because of the state of charge being higher. The car really wants you to arrive pretty much dead to be able to take advantage of the 170 peak speed. Oh, look at that. It actually did jump up. It won't hold it for long, only a couple of minutes. Then it'll start dropping down to 150 and 120 as the state of charge rises. So I just ran in, picked up a water, used the restroom, and already have way more energy than we need to continue the trip. So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug, and it says we should arrive home with about 9%. The ease of the Supercharger network does not get old, I'll tell you that for sure. It has been so convenient, and just also the fact that there's more chargers around. So I was able to kind of leave the last charger in Bloomington without any risk because I knew there was more Superchargers down the road. So if I did miscalculate, I can always stop here like I did for a couple minutes, and now I have enough to make it home. So just 85 miles to go, and according to this, it thinks we'll arrive with 14%. So let's hit the road. So that'll wrap it up for the weekend getaway to St. Louis. Excellent, excellent experience here in the Tesla. I'll go over some data real quick. I just enabled car wash mode since I'm about to go through the car wash. And here's our efficiency for the trip. So as a whole, we went 653 miles using 182 kilowatt hours and averaged 279 watt hours per mile. Again, I'll put that conversion at the bottom to convert that to miles per kilowatt hour. Excellent efficiency, especially considering on the way down there, it was very cold and windy, and that was certainly hurting our efficiency. So certainly looking forward to taking this car on a 4,000 mile road trip next week. This was good to get some preliminary data of how the trip, how the car would work as a road tripper. And I guess with that, pretty much wrap it up. If you found this content helpful, please like the video. It really helps the channel grow. And make sure to be subscribed so you don't miss any future content coming. Again, like I said, it's huge. Really helps out the channel's growth. The way the YouTube algorithm works, the more likes and subscribers helps them promote the video to more people out there, so more people can learn about how to road trip this Tesla and other EVs out there. So with that, we'll wrap it up, and take care until next time.